Welcome to another episode of Cat's Got Your Tongue, the podcast that loves cats probably just as much as you do. It is a podcast in association with the charity Cats Protection. My name's Adam Brown, I'm your host, and I'm also a proud cat dad to my beautiful, lovely cat, Cinnamon, who pops up in this podcast quite a bit, if I'm honest with you, because let's face it, we all love talking about our cats, don't we? Which is exactly what we're doing today. We're going to find out more about our celebrity guest's cat, their life with their cat, and hopefully we'll find out a little bit more about cats in general whilst we're at it. Let's get into it. This is Cat's Got Your Tongue. So each week on Cat's Got Your Tongue, I'm joined by a cat-owning guest to hear about life with their cat and how cats just generally tend to make everything better. And learn a bit more about cats myself in the process. And this episode, we have got the wonderful presenter, Nat O'Leary from Radio 1. How are you, Nat? You all right?
Hello, I'm so good, thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so happy for you to be here as well. You know, and it's just an opportunity just to talk to a fellow cat lover about cats.
I feel like I'm basically a cat, so
Really?
I feel like this is the perfect podcast for me.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll let you expand on that. Why do you think you're a cat?
Do you know what? So I've got a cat called Blue, and she thinks I'm a cat, so I am a cat, so I act like a cat. So when I'm in my natural habitat, my home, my apartment, I do crawl around the floor and act like a cat, and it makes me happy.
Just to make her feel, you know, like just at home. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like it. Yeah.
Get on her level, because it's scary having a big... So there's this... Right, I'm already going into a fact, but there's this fact that cats think we're all cats, yeah, but we're maybe not so intelligent. So I think she's going to be scared of the whole 5'1" me towering above her, this big, silly cat that's not very intelligent. So I just get on a level to make her feel...
Just less intimidated.
Yeah. I
So,
don't want to intimidate her.
Blue, beautiful. I've seen some pictures. I've seen on your Instagram. She's a ragdoll.
She is.
Which is like, they are so cute, ragdolls, and it's a breed of cat that I would love to own. They always say that they're super affectionate, aren't they?
They are.
Very cuddly. Is that the first cat you've ever had?
No, so I'd always wanted a ragdoll. My auntie who lives in Scotland had a ragdoll when I was younger called Casper. So I'd always wanted cats, and then when I was younger, I've had a few. So I had Benny, who was my first cat. I've had 4 cats before Blue.
Yeah.
But my mum's now got my last 2, which is Gin and Tonic. We couldn't name them, so that's what we ended up naming. Yeah. So they still live with my mum, and I've got Blue.
So Blue's the first cat you've had on your own?
As an adult.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
She is my first cat, and I do feel like a very proud cat mother.
So did you have her from a kitten?
Yes.
Yeah. How did you find that?
Amazing. When I moved into the apartment I'm in now, I got a big core memory here. I got these floor to ceiling like curtains, like, you know, like the sheer kind of cloth curtains. And the lady who was fitting them was like, never get a cat, 'cause she knew I was a cat person. I was like, that's not going to last, hon. I've got core memories of her climbing them. So she made my life 10 times better, but also affected some other areas, let's say.
Yeah. But deposit on the flat's gone. Is that what you're trying to say, essentially?
Honey, that was long gone.
Gone after
long
week
gone.
1. Yeah. So why did you decide to get a cat at that point? You're thinking to yourself, right, I'm an adult now. Mm-hmm. I want a cat. Why? What is it? For me, it's a little bit of companionship as well.
Yeah.
There is an element of that. But I felt like now, since being a cat lover and a cat owner, I know that I'll always have a cat.
Yeah.
I'll never be without one now.
Yeah.
So do you feel like once you sort of was on by yourself and you're living, did you feel like I need a cat?
Well, so mine's actually another funny story. So I'd lived with my boyfriend for about, what year? We might have been like 4 or 5 years into living together in Manchester. And for all this time, I've not had my cats with me. They've been at my mum's, the ones that I had from, teenage years. And it's a running joke that I used to come home and throw myself, I'm not dramatic whatsoever, throw myself on the bed and be like, I need a cat. And genuinely, it's like, so I used to work quite a stressful, fun, but very stressful job. And I genuinely used to just like wail about the fact I needed a cat. And this went on for years and years and years until 2 years ago, my boyfriend surprised me. So I didn't actually choose to get Blue. I'd kind of been in this space where I really wanted a cat, but I was also like, it's a big responsibility. Yeah. Having them at my mum's previously is different. There's 2 of us. She's there most of the time when I'm not. And, I hadn't really thought it through as a serious thing, although I knew I really wanted one. So actually, she was a surprise. And it was the biggest and best surprise of my life, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice, though, because you think... Because it is such a big commitment, isn't it, really? And you think to yourself, should I do it? Can I do it? And then to have that taken out of your hands almost, and just go, right, well, it's happening now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm here with it. Yeah.
And do you know what? What's so funny is, like I said, I used to come home and say, I need a cat, and genuinely, like I was being dramatic, but I did really feel like I needed that because of that, you know, like you say, the companionship, and just I find her such a big calming.
No,
it's such a catch-22 because she's calming, but she's also so stressful when she's climbing my curtains and things. But she is so calming. Whenever you've had a hard day, the last thing I want to do is hug a human. I'd rather hug a cat. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. She's great.
But I do find just being in the presence of cats very, very relaxing. And it's hard to kind of put my finger on exactly why that is, but even obviously my own cat, but even if I'm around at someone's house and they've got a cat and it's just a cat wandering around or just a cat sat on another sofa or something, just the presence of them, I find it unbelievably relaxing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's strange, isn't it?
I do. I think like being a cat person, you are like, no matter whose house you're in, you're always drawn to, I mean, I'm drawn to animals in general, but cats are my favourite thing in the world. But yeah, she's definitely got a very big calming presence, especially like if you ever come home upset, having a cat, and they know.
It's weird, isn't it?
They really know.
Yeah, I know.
She'll do like Blue would do circles around me. Like at times, like if I'm being really dramatic, I'll be kneeling on the floor because I know I'll get attention from her, and she'll like jump on my back with her two paws and meow in my ear, and it's just the cutest thing ever.
Do you know at what point is like the society has changed so much when like us as owners now are trying to get the attention from the pet rather than the pet getting the attention from us.
Well, this is exactly, and you know, cats, like famously, they will only give you what they want to give you. But I know tricks to get more.
I know all the hacks to get more. So let's talk about Blue in a bit more detail then. Tell me a little bit about Blue's character.
Oh, Blue's character. She's me and a cat. She's a little bit scatty, a little bit dramatic. She's so dramatic, actually. She's loud. She's vocal. Like, she meows the house down. I don't know whether, like, cats famously get the zoomies. Well, cats and dogs, but cats famously get the zoomies. There's something about the ragdoll zoomies that I never... You mentioned, like, their temperament. Ragdolls are very much... I can only relate them to dogs.
Right.
They're quite similar to dogs, I would say. She plays fetch with me. Her zoomies are intense. Like, she darts around the house and she makes this noise where she's like, while she's bolting around. And she's what I'm trying to say in a nutshell is she's fun. Yeah. She's fun, she's loud, she's vocal, but she's also, like I said, very loving as well. Yeah. But all on her terms. Yeah. She's wild.
How does she spend her days then? Like, you know, is she very... I feel like because my cat is unbelievably laid back, and then when I get in, she has a little bit of burst of energy, and then she's like chills again. And does she have like favourite places where she chills in the flat or that sort of thing? Has she got favourite toys and...
Yeah, so she spends her days, she likes to wake us up at 3, 4, 5 in the morning just for fun.
Standard.
Likes to scratch the carpet to wake us up, scratch the bed to wake us up. She actually sleeps behind my head, which I find really compliment. Like, I think that's the biggest achievement as a cat mum because she chose my head, not my boyfriend's. Yeah. So she sleeps above my head. So that's probably one of her favourite sleeping spaces. Her favourite toy for the longest time has been a bikini. And funnily enough, she was playing with it last night. This bikini is it's a bikini top. She picks it up in her mouth and she lets it drag in between her back legs, and she kind of like waddles, but she lowers her bum too. Oh. So it's really weird. I'll show you a video after. She like kind of waddles through, but she makes these noises like, meow, like, I've got my bikini, come and see. Oh my God. That's her favourite thing. She drags it around the house.
She's like showcasing it.
Showcasing it.
That's unbelievable.
But she spends her days, mostly playing and sleeping. What's Cinnamon like?
Do you know what? She looks just like this cat on my t-shirt, to be fair. Yeah, so she's a calico. She's tiny though. So she was a rescue from Cat Protection. So my old cat, Ruby, passed away at the end of last year. It was
sorry.
I was so sad. And then within like a week or two, I was like, I can't go without a cat. I can't. And then it was like, is it too soon to get a new cat? And I was like, no, do you know what? What's the point in me? What's the point in like there being a cat at Cat Protection in a pen needing a home, and me being sad at home not having a cat? Like, do you know what I mean? It makes sense to just bring us together.
Absolutely.
So I did it. So I got her, and she's so cute. It's ridiculous. Honestly, like I was like, how I mean, I don't know how she ended up in a rescue centre. It's just it's madness. So I got her, and yeah, she's just beautiful. She's just such a beautiful little cat. But yeah, she's tiny. She's so small, but I think because we know a little bit about her background, but not everything, because she was abandoned and all this kind of stuff. So she still has a little bit of. She's a little bit nervous sometimes. Yeah. So if I stand up suddenly or whatever, she you can see her like. She flinches, and I'm like, it's so sad that, isn't it? Really? Yeah. Like she still has that kind of sort of not that she doesn't trust me, but there's that element of doubt when new people as well. She's very like cautious. How does Blue cope with new people?
It's interesting because I think she's quite she's a really outgoing cat. She's really confident. But when she does meet new people, she's wary for the first 5 seconds, then she's all over you. Yeah. Like a rash. But if there's another cat, so we have neighbours that have 2 cats, and I look after them when they go away. And one of the guys came around with one of the cats recently to thank us with a box of chocolates, but Blue, the smell of another cat, she's very. But yeah, with humans, she's very nice, actually, yeah. She'll be your best friend in 5 minutes, as long as you've got treats.
Is she indoor only? Or
she's indoor only, yeah.
Same as mine.
And it is hard, though, that decision, isn't it? Because that was actually one of the reasons I didn't get a cat originally for myself, because I lived in an apartment and I live in Manchester city centre. So obviously in these, not like I'm not in a high-rise building, but in an apartment building where you're on a certain floor, to get her out would be hard work, wouldn't it? Yeah. But also she wouldn't do well.
See, I always think that
on the Ancoach streets. That cat would not do well, hun. Absolutely, she'd go to the first person that gave her. Do you know what I mean? But we actually, what's really cute is our apartment building. The inside of it is like it's outdoor. And it's basically because it's made with like cast iron gates, so it's not actually all closed off. So it feels when you step outside like it's outside. Right. We let her run around.
Oh, so she gets a little bit of
It's really safe. It's got glass. It's all covered. And yeah, she just has a little. So all the neighbours know her now. Yeah. Because she's just walking around this little white furry cat owning the place. Yeah. So she gets a bit of a run around, which is great.
And I think it is quite a difficult decision sometimes about indoor, outdoor. There's always that sort of ongoing debate, but I always think there's no sort of right answer, because every cat's different, and also every cat owner's situation is different. So I don't think people should be made to feel bad either way. Do you know what I mean? I think that sometimes it's just not practical. Yeah. To have a cat outside. Yeah. Other times it's super practical. So I always think that though. I always get worried that she's not going to come back.
I know. Well,
I know it's probably stupid, and like my cat is far more intelligent than I'm thinking, because she would. But I look at her and I'm like, she's got like fluff between her toe beans.
Same.
Yeah, and I'm like, how's that? I can't go on concrete. Oh, do you know what I mean? Surely.
It'd get dirty. Yeah. I'm on so many like Facebook pages for ragdolls, and they always talk about the toe being floof. And I remember people messaging like, should we cut it? And like when we first got her, we're like, what if she slips? Like, do we need that cutting? Absolutely not.
So what do you think in terms of, the cat ownership in general? I mean, is it something that, sort of the world of cats, is that important to you? Has it always been something in terms of cat welfare? Is it something that you've always kind of been interested in as well? Obviously with cat protection, cat welfare is just at the forefront of what they do. Yeah. Is it something which you've always kind of been fascinated by? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say definitely as I've got older, because I think when you're younger, like I say, I've had cats since I was very young, and we used to go and pick cats from our local, like my mum's friend I was very young, but my mum's friend had a farm, and her cat had a litter. Yeah. So we would just go and pick up a cat and come home with this, and it was beautiful and it was amazing. But I think nowadays at this age, like, knowing that there's so many cats that need homes, it's definitely a route like in future I'd really want to go down, and also want to support cats protection, because like you said before, so many people, how someone could give Cinnamon away, or whatever the circumstance was, is just absolutely heartbreaking to me. I don't know how you could ever do that. And you see stories every day about cats being left in, like, I'm not going to go into the details of it, on this in a park or whatever. And I just think to physically be able to do that, I mean, I'm not going to get too deep. I just think it's I don't know. I genuinely don't. And I guess there's also all different kinds of circumstances.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, we've kind of covered this on this podcast before, where there is always circumstances where it becomes, maybe someone is unable to look after the cat anymore. Yeah. But that's what cat protection are there for. Yeah. So you can actually do it safely rather than just kind of abandoning a cat,
Yeah.
you can actually go to Cats Protection and get advice and say, look, I can't have this cat anymore for whatever reason. It could be financial reasons or whatever, you know, it could be changing circumstances. So Cats Protection are there for that as well, which sometimes I think people don't realise that it is actually a resource there if you are in that situation. So it means that there are less cats like Cinnamon who ended up abandoned in a car park somewhere. It doesn't have to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know it's difficult. If you're in that situation as a cat owner, I can't imagine how tough that must be if you get to that situation where you're like, I can't keep this cat anymore. So what do I do? Well, that's where Cats Protection can come in, which is great. And they do some amazing work. Have you been to one of the cat centres, by the way?
No,
right,
I am dying. Can we go together?
Honestly.
Because I like genuinely, when you said like, are you interested? I've seen so many like friends and peers and people going, and I'm like, how do I go? Right. Please, I just want to go and see the cat.
I'll take you to one of them.
But I don't know how I won't come home with 10.
And also, the one near me, I went to the one in Warrington, which isn't far from me.
Yeah.
And they were like, do you want to see the kittens? And I'm like, oh. So yeah, that was unbelievable.
I could cry thinking about it. Genuinely feel like I'm welling up.
I'll show you some pictures. They were letting me. Oh, it was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
I wonder if you could spend the night there. Like,
do you know what?
I'll donate.
If they'd offered, I'd have been like, let me just sleep in that kitten room, and I'll be a happy man, honestly.
Imagine your like happiness levels on a serious note. Like you're happy. Like I don't know what it is about cats. There must be a scientific. We need to figure that out.
I came out of there and I felt like I'd been on like a spa weekend. Like, you know what I mean? I was so relaxed.
So calming.
I know. I came out and I was like, oh, this is the best. And all I've done was wander around stroking some cats. So in terms of like your sort of dynamic with you and Blue, I don't know about you, but when I'm around my cat, I'm like a different person. Like my voice is different. And like, how do you speak to your cat?
Oh, it depends what she's doing. If she's being good, it's very.
They're always good, aren't they? No, even when they're bad, they're good.
Yeah, you can never ever be upset. Like it. Yeah, I'm very. I meow at her more than I speak to her, I think. I walk in and I meow. Like I'd say, she thinks I'm a cat, so I'm going to act like a cat. I do. I meow to her, I purr to her. That's the main form of conversation. Otherwise, it's just calling her name Bluey, Bluebell, Chicken. Chicken's a nickname. Oh my God, I've not told you. Her nickname is Chicken. Because obviously when they loaf, because she's happy, she's comfortable, her back legs she looks like a rotisserie chicken. So that is her name. So it's so funny when people come around to the house for the first time and Luke, my boyfriend, especially like for my boyfriend Luke, and he's just like, Chicken. And then my friends are like, who's? And I'm like, it's the cat.
Is he hungry? Or literally,
like he's just shouting me to get in the kit. No, absolutely not. He'd never get away with that. She's. I speak to her like she's my baby because she's my child.
Yeah,
I genuinely do feel like she's my child. Is your tone of voice
different as well when you're like? I go quite high pitched to me.
Oh yeah, I go high pitched. Oh, she also loves singing. Well, hates it actually. So I've read. I do so many. I don't know whether you're like me. Like I always research little things like what a purr means, why she sleeps above my head, all these different things. I speak high pitched, and I always say that she likes me more because I've got a naturally more high pitched voice than my boyfriend. Like I just like to wind him up. But I like to sing a lot in the bath or just sing a lot in the house, and it drives her crazy. And I think it's because it's too high pitched.
Right. Okay.
But I quite like it because she comes over and she like taps me like, Mum, no, stop that now. You're hurting my ears.
Yeah.
She's my harshest critic. So yeah, I like to sing to her. We make songs up for her. Well, I do.
Yeah. Do you ever do like just sing about her to her?
Loads,
yeah,
all the
I
time.
do all the time.
Do you know what's really strange? Like, you know, I say like, I genuinely do feel like a mother. Well, I am, obviously. But when I've always sung, what's that song that like, is it a nursery rhyme or is it like I don't know whether, you know, you are my sunshine.
Yeah.
Swear to God, when I first got her, that was it in my little arms, and she just.
Do you know what though? Do you ever think that someone who's not a cat person, if they saw you around your cat, they'd think you're absolutely wild?
Yeah, but they're the wild ones for not knowing what this love feels like, honey. Do you know what I mean?
It is.
But it is wild.
It is mad. I do some stuff sometimes, and I'm like, if people saw me singing to my cat, they'd be like, "What's up? What's going on?"
It's like this is
I'm
really
singing crazy. Like the lyrics are unbelievable.
What do you do? Like cat songs? Do you make them up?
Yeah, there's not to a particular tune. I'm just freestyling, and I'm calling her all different names, like variations on cinnamon and sin and Cinny Chin Chin and all.
Oh, Cinny Chin Chin.
It's It's ridiculous.
They love a chin scratch, don't
I know.
they?
But it's like, I'm glad that obviously I can share that with you and people listening to this podcast, obviously cat lovers, they get it. So like, it's not strange, but...
We're not the strange ones.
No.
Like, the people that don't enjoy this or know about this feeling.
But if you get a couple of mates round to watch the football on a Sunday... and your cat wanders in, and you know, there's Super Sundays on Sky Sports, and you go, "Cinema's it," and they're like, "Are you Adam? Like, what's going on here? Like, what's happening?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's just my cat language that I do. It's fine." But yeah, it just happens, doesn't it? And you know what? At first, I was like, "This is weird, this feeling," because I'd not owned cats. I've got my first cat about 5 years ago.
Right.
Never had cats before, and I got that sort of the bug of cat ownership and. It changed me so much. It really did. It made me sort of reevaluate so many aspects of my life.
Really?
Yeah, honestly, it did. And it sounds weird to say that, but it made me way more rounded as a person. It made me way more empathetic, way more sensitive, caring. Like, I know, it's so strange.
Well, it's not strange. It's really interesting because when you say that, like, I think about my boyfriend. So when I first met him, he had a Labrador. He lived with his mum. This was uni times. After he'd finished uni, he lived with his mum. They had a Labrador called Ruby, and they'd always been dog people. And I was like, well, hi, I'm a big cat person, so this is me. And when he got Blue for us, watching him was kind of like, oh my God, well, this is, if we ever in the future have kids and things like that, I don't know whether that, if that's something that'll happen. Like, you kind of see what he's actually going to be like. Yeah. And he is so, like, I don't think he'd ever, I always say to him, like, would you ever not have a cat? I mean, obviously we want Blue for our whole entire lives, but I was like, would you ever not have a cat? And he's like, absolutely not. He loves it. And it's funny because when he's like texting the lads, or like the lads are coming over, he's on the phone and he's shouting chicken in the background. They're like, who is this guy?
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They're always saying, send us a picture, because she's so big. Ragdolls are so big. They're always like, send us a picture of the cat. But yeah, no, I think it's really changed him, and it's actually really lovely to see, because I think, like you said, they have such a calming effect on you in general.
Yeah. It's made me less bothered about things like...
Really?
Yeah, I think... they probably would have been 5 years ago, the thought of walking around, singing to a cat when my mates are there, I'd be like, oh God, I don't want, that's not me.
I love that's changed that though.
But now I'm just not bothered.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, like I'm sat here with a picture of a calico cat on my shirt. I've got
gorgeous
20, cat sort of pattern shirt. I don't really, everything in my house looks like my house looks like a shrine to cat. My house looks like a cat museum, genuinely. And I don't care. Like, if it needs someone new and they come round, if they're going to judge me for having, cat ornaments, like, that's up to them.
That's on them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's on them.
But it takes a while, like, I think, to get to that stage sometimes when, especially, you go through so many things in your life, or, pressures of careers, relationships, that sort of thing. And then actually I've got this kind of an island away from everything else where I can just kind of relax and completely be obsessed with something. And I love that. I love that I've got that.
I love that for you.
Yeah, I know. I am obsessed, believe me. So we're going to speak to our cat behaviourist, our expert from Cats Protection, in a second. So I know you've obviously mentioned a couple of questions that you might have already about, Blue or cats in general. So if we stick around, Nat, we're going to speak to Nicky from Cats Protection very soon. So we'll be back very soon on Cats Got Your Tongue. So, as you know, I don't know everything there is to know about cats. I feel like, every day is a school day as a cat owner. And today on Cats Got Your Tongue, we're joined by someone who does, thankfully, know a little bit more than I do. Well, actually, a lot more than I do. That's underselling you, Nicky. It is friend of the podcast, Nicky Trevorrow, Cats Protection behaviourist. Nicky, welcome back to Cats Got Your Tongue.
Hi, Adam. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah, we're joined by Nat O'Leary's here as well. We've been finding a little bit more about her cat, her beautiful ragdoll, Blue. So Nicky, basically, Nat is here to answer any questions we have about cats, which is great. It's amazing. How many times do I message you, Nicky, about, random things that are going on with my cat? I'm like, honestly, I'm like...
What's the latest? Like...
Well, when I lost my cat at the end of last year, like, Nicky was such a big help for me, like... to lean on. I was saying, like, is this normal? What's happening? Like, what does this mean? And obviously, vets can tell you a certain amount, but it's kind of like, I always have more questions that I'll ask. Do you know what I mean? And obviously it's always busy. So Nicky was always there. And it's great as well, if something just changes in your cat's behaviour, I'm like, what's going on here? And normally she's like, don't worry, it's fine. Like, that's just totally normal. Like, I'm such like like a panicky parent. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, oh my God, this is the end of the world. She's like, Adam, calm down, it's fine. So yeah, Nicky, hopefully Nat's going to have a couple of questions for you with regards to cats. So you ought to go in with the first question.
Yeah, my burning question, you may have been asked this before and it may just be completely silly, is my cat likes to lick my legs after a shower. My arm, mainly my legs because I get out the bath or the shower. Is that like because she's thirsty for water or is it because she thinks I'm her mum and she's cleaning me? I'm hoping it's the latter. She does drink a lot of water.
There is water out for her.
There's loads of water and she does like to lap it up. But I think but also I'm also like, well, if she's enjoying this experience and she's getting a bit of a hydration off my legs, great.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely no harm in it. As long as you haven't got any sort of like, shower gel, anything residue on your legs or anything when you get out of the shower, then and it's safe for the cat, then great. It could well be a bit of both. The scientist in me wants to experiment because presumably you showering in warm to hot water, I'm guessing, rather than a cold shower. And so I would love to know whether if you put on some warm water for her, whether it's a temperature thing. I would think also like, she's bonded to you and like it is a really kind of almost like a mutual grooming type thing, which is really cute. So don't worry, she loves you.
That makes me emotional.
But yeah, I think experiment with different types of water sources and things that replicate some of the different features of that and whether she's interested. Because I had one case where the cat liked to get in the shower. And again, I was curious about whether it was just any other types of running water. And the cat was not interested in the sprinkler outside, and we think maybe it was a bit too cold. So,
oh, that's interesting. Blue does like getting in the shower too, but not when it's running.
Yeah, they're all different.
They are.
So Blue has baths because she's got such big pantaloons because we've never had her trimmed or like groomed her because she's beautiful. Yeah. But we wash her now and again because this is a bit disgusting, sorry, a bit too much information. But when she goes to the toilet, sometimes she gets a bit stuck in her pantaloons.
She's got long hair.
Very long hair. Yeah. So we do bath her now and again.
How does she find that? Is she all right with it?
She has a little meow, but she's fine.
Yeah.
She's very calm. And then she has the zoomies when she gets out because she's soaking wet. And obviously I dry to the best of my ability with a towel, but I wouldn't dare try anything else.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, that, isn't it, Nicky? In terms of because both my cats that I've had have been semi-long haired, and it's difficult, isn't it? Because cats they're quite proud, aren't they, in terms of the way they groom, and they almost like. They almost look at it as to say, I don't need help, but there's that sort of line sometimes we've got to give them a bit of a helping hand. When it's like long-haired cats as well, with stuff like that, they are more susceptible to getting knots and they get matted and it's kind of harder for them, isn't it, sometimes? So what's the right level that we should be helping them?
I mean, it will obviously vary for individual cats. Even all the long-hairs, they will vary depending on like mobility and if there's any other medical issues and stuff. What I would say is like you can get like special cat clippers. So these are different to normal clippers and certainly different to human ones. They're like a lot smaller and they're a lot quieter, which is really important. And even though just the vibration is much more subtle, so they're much better tolerated by cats. And I would say like a little clip, a little haircut around the bottom area really helps prevent anything sort of getting stuck and left behind, and therefore will be just easier to maintain for the cat and obviously for yourself as well. And then that would probably avoid the baths because the cat probably tolerating but maybe not a fan, and the clipping might be better for both of you.
There you go, Nat. You're going away for this podcast today knowing that you've got to go and shave your cat's bum.
I mean, I have got an admission to make.
Go on.
I did try once with my boyfriends, like completely, like say
I didn't know what you meant then. I'll be honest with you. I was like, what do you mean?
I'm not going to, no. with clipper, like an electric clipper, but I didn't realise you can actually get specialised cat ones that are lower vibrations and less scary for them.
And they're really little, they're so cute.
Really, I say I did try. Like I didn't succeed. It was very we're not going to do this, but I'm going to try that.
Yeah, I mean sometimes I think as well. It's we've kind of spoken about this before on the podcast that it's kind of like there's no right or wrong. It's difficult because it's all about the individual cat, and also it's almost like trying to see what's the least stressful thing for that cat because some cats will respond worse to clippers or whatever. They really like. I had my old cat. She hated being brushed. Hated it.
Really?
Just absolutely hated it. I couldn't even get near her. As soon as the brush came out, tried different brushes, tried tricking her and everything, and she just hated. So I had to take her to the groomers because I thought actually that's the less stressful option here. Like it was stressful to, she was getting really bad mats and the knots were really bad, and I was like, that's not fair. She can't be like that. But she was so stressed out every time I tried to get get them, so I had to go to a professional. And yeah, so oftentimes, Nicky, I think it is just trying to go, what's the best option that's going to minimise the distress for the cat, isn't it, really?
Definitely.
Any other questions that you might have?
Yeah, I was thinking, we were chatting before, like Blue's an indoor cat, and I think we were kind of having this conversation before, weren't we, that there's lots of opinions on having indoor or outdoor cats. And, you know, I guess my question is, do you it's very hard for you to answer because you've not met her, but like, how much do you think that impacts a cat? Like, I just really hope she's happy. And sometimes, like, I always say to my boyfriend Luca that I want her to have the best life possible, and I wanted to see and experience everything. But I do feel bad that she doesn't get to go outside. Now, obviously, if we had a garden, I would probably let that happen. But we live in an apartment, so it's hard to actually get her outside.
I think you've said like the most important thing there, and that's that you're really thinking about her and trying to put her first, and you know, how can she live her best possible life? And that's amazing. Like, to have that right at the forefront and be like, that's the motivation here. So amazing, well done. I would say, like, it sounds like you're already doing like lots of play and enrichment and stuff like that. Me and Adam always talk about this on the podcast. There's lots of other little bits that you can add in, for example. So you could like explore how she responds to scent enrichment. So that's like, you could bring in some feathers from outside and just see if it's like, you know, interesting for her to sniff. Or if anyone's got any, like, I don't know, pet rabbits, you could get a clean cloth and gently stroke the rabbit with that cloth, and then put that cloth in your apartment and see if she's interested in going to give that a sniff. So there's lots of different ways you can replicate different parts from outside in an indoor environment.
Yeah, it's almost like bringing the outdoor in. Almost. Yeah.
I would have never thought of this. Like, my mind's just been blown because my friend's got a pet rabbit, so I'm going to phone her immediately. Like, can I come and get a sample?
What, she's like,
can I come and wipe with a cloth?
I tell you what, your boyfriend's going to get back in, and the apartment's going to be like a forest.
Acorns.
Yeah, be like, what's going on here? I've done a bit of redecorating.
No, that's such good advice, though, Nicky. Thank you, because I do feel I'll definitely try that. Like I say, I just want her to be very happy.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Sometimes I have these like little bit of almost guilt where it's like other people's cats are going outside and mine's not. But you know, I was saying earlier on that it's all about circumstances as well, and I think one thing that we've always tried to kind of champion on this podcast is that it's what works for you sometimes, as long as the cat is happy and it's not damaging the cat's welfare in any way, and you know, you just try and like, and you that's what you said, the thing that's at the forefront of your mind is trying to give your cat the best life you can. So everyone's working within different parameters, aren't they? So it's about maximising that, I suppose. We've got a question as well, actually quite a suitable question for you, Nat.
Great.
And for myself, really. It's from the Douglas family, who want to know, is it worth leaving the radio on for their cats, Billy and Betty Boo, when they go out? Now, apparently, they always do it because they worry the cats are lonely when they're not there, or they're going to be bored or sad without them, and think that the chatter of radio is company for them, but the cats really care about that.
I'm just going to jump in real quick because I've got another admission to make. And Nicky, please, I'm scared. I always get scared that I'm going to say the wrong thing. So Blue has an iPad.
What do you mean?
She's a child. No, it's our iPod, obviously, but we play cat TV to her. So that gets left on in one bedroom when we leave the house. And then in the other room, we have Serengeti on, which is an animal program that makes noises. We leave that on for her as well. I'm sorry to my electric bills, but she's worth it.
Hang on.
And then she's got toys.
Blaring out through your flat.
Yeah, so we have so the TV's always on like level 8 so that she can hear it whatever room she's in, so it's comforting that there's somebody about. And then the Mice TV plays constantly, and it's like a 10-hour loop. Whoever created this on YouTube is rich because we play it constantly.
Yeah. Have you seen the views on that, by the way? On that? It's ridiculous. Isn't it?
I'm like, why didn't I think of that?
I know.
I'm going to stop filming stuff in the garden. But I don't know whether it actually does anything good but she does love her Mice TV.
Oh, so it's definitely one of those things that I think not every cat will respond to, but a lot of cats do. And I always find it interesting how they can always respond to prey species regardless of the size. And the same for like predators as well. My cat certainly reacts when Attenborough's on. I know. So even if the mouse appears huge, he's still like, that's a mouse, and it's you know, I'm gonna get it. I think the main thing is, one, how does the individual cat react? Because a lot will find it interesting and treat it as a sort of TV and interesting. The one thing to be careful of is, does the cat find it frustrating because they can't physically catch like the prey species, for example? So it does come down to the individual. It might be a case of maybe she has supervised TV sessions where you're there and she can watch it, and then you can actually finish the viewing session, if you like, with some interactive play where she can then catch and, pounce on like a interactive toy, and then that really gets all the endorphin fixes and kind of finishes the game. So yeah, I think it depends on the individual. Whether radio helps, it depends. It depends what's playing.
What radio station?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I know they love Radio X, don't they? A lot of cats. They seem to be quite rock and roll, aren't they? So.
I mean, Adam, I hate to say the research does actually say to the contrary. I'm really sorry.
I know they love classic FM.
Is that what they like?
Yeah.
Well,
fuming.
I was also going to make one more admission. My boyfriend plays out. When I'm on the radio at the weekend, he plays me, and it sends the cat wild. She has the zoomies, and I think
she recognises you.
Well, I think it's it could be, but I think because my voice is high pitch, he'll have it. Well, whenever the radio is on, when music sends a wild, like loopy. So I don't really have radio on. I don't really have music on for it because it makes her hyperactive. But I think it's a mixture of the music and my voice. I'm sure she knows it's me. Yeah.
I think she would be able to recognise your voice amongst other voices. So don't worry. Really? Yeah, I think again, it might be comforting for some cats. For other cats, they might find it confusing, frustrating. So it's one of those sort of like trying to judge on an individual basis, like how are they finding it, and then reacting accordingly as to whether you may either stop doing it or continue doing it. So yeah, it just depends, really. But yeah, I think some cats respond well to having some radio left on quietly in the background. Other cats would probably just prefer to have a bit of peace and quiet. I think most people forget that like cats sleep 16 hours a day on average. So actually, they're not lonely and they're quite happy to get some peace and quiet and some sleep.
Yeah.
That's always really worth remembering as well, because being a cat, like a cat mum, a cat dad, and like leaving to go to work and leaving the cat, the guilt is insufferable.
Yeah.
But I always think they love being
asleep
and they love the fact we're not there as well. But you do forget it, don't you?
I know, because I always think to myself, it's like a bit of a break for the cat when I'm not there sometimes, you know what I mean? It's like, and they're going, I'll be back soon. And they're going, just please leave me alone for a bit. Like, I've been fussed for so long now. I need to chill out. And I'm there going, I should go back. And they're thinking, they don't want me to come back. It's fine. They're happy on their own for a bit, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's interesting about the radio thing, because they do... I mean, I think I must have read some similar research to you, Nicky, where they were saying about different genres. And they were saying that, like, easy listening, classic music, where it's very calming, they tend to quite like that.
Definitely. But with the classical music, like we talked about this before, where it has to be the calming classical music, because some of it can be quite intense, can't it? And like that, they don't like that one so much.
Yeah, and it actually happened with my old cat Ruby when there was like something was on, like a score for a film, and a film gets dramatic and it's like classic music is like dun, dun, and like Ruby was going like dun, dun, like, and I was like she was, so it's them kind of like the shock kind of moments in classic music aren't great, are they? And it's also that like heavy metal is a no-go for cats.
So Cinnamon's not liking you on the radio, is that what we're saying?
Well, yeah,
not heavy metal, but the rock.
I mean, I don't know. I like to think. I mean, annoyingly, she drink. Well, my old cat used to drink out of a Smooth Radio cup, which annoyed me. I was like, you know what I mean? I'm like, God.
I wondered what you were going to tell us.
Because I gave her the choice as well. I was like, as a little experiment, I put out a Smooth Radio cup and a Radio X cup. I was like, right, come on. I was like, this would be a great bit of content for Instagram. I was like, because she's going to choose Radio X, and then it'd be like, oh, look at. She went straight to the Smooth Radio cup, and that was it then.
That's telling you everything, isn't it?
I know, yeah.
They like the smooth, chilled vibes.
Yeah, I know. So I was like, come on, seriously. Like,
can't catch a break.
I know. So I thought it's my own fault, that really. So yeah, they do tend to like it, I think. And I don't know. There's that thing of worrying that they're going to be bored when you're not there. But is that not really a thing, Nicky? Or is it? Would they be quite happy for the break and a little bit of their own time?
Yeah. So I think, like I say, I think most people forget that they do need their 16 hours sleep and get some quality sleep, peace and quiet. So yeah, rest assured if you leave the house, not to feel guilty, because it's nap time basically. But things we can do is we can leave cat safe toys around. So like like the little balls, or whether it's ping pong balls or whatever, they can sort of ping around the house. We can leave out puzzle feeders, so that's where you put in. I mean, most of them are for dry food. There's a few for wet food, but you can leave like little bits for them to pour out and sort of have like a little hunting trip by themselves at home, and also just to kind of go and be more self-reliant and get some snacks when they want to. No,
have you got cameras?
We've had a camera, yeah.
What do you think about those, Nicky? Because I've not got them set up anymore, but I did have cameras where I could just sort of check in on Ruby at the time, but it also allowed me to speak to her. like, is that a similar thing to talking about radio? Would it be confusing? Because I sometimes, when I first got it, she'd be there and I could see she was awake and I'd go, Ruby, and then she'd like look up like that. And then I was like, I don't know if it's just frustrating her.
Yeah, so I think there is those concerns of like potentially confusing and frustrating them, that they can't either figure it out or can't get to you. But I do think cameras in general are a good idea, and that you can see what's going on. It can help to reassure owners who are maybe feeling a bit nervous or anxious about leaving them, to see what they get up to. And let's be honest, most of the time they will just clock on the camera and be like, oh, still asleep.
Still asleep, yeah.
Just following the sun round, you know.
Is anything else you've always wondered about cats? No, is anything else that's always puzzled you?
I mean, I Google this a lot, but I always love to ask why you might think Nicky, my cat Blue, sleeps above my head and not my boyfriend's. Is it because I'm the best?
From the cat's perspective, yes. The cat has chosen.
That's all I wanted to know.
Are you the primary caregiver by any chance? Do you happen to do most of the cat care type stuff?
It's really hard, actually, because I do think, you know how I was saying, like, Luke has really stepped into this role. Like, I think he's probably the more, like, I know, because I've had cats my whole life, I know cats are really independent, and I know when you need to give in to them. He will, honestly, like, she wakes up at 3 a.m, he's going off feeding her, and I'm like, if you feed her at 3 a.m, she's going to continue wanting and expecting that.
Yeah.
She doesn't need feeding at 3 a.m, she should be asleep, and there's bits for her to graze, she's fine. So yes and no is the answer to that. Sorry.
No, it's all good. But yeah, and it's also like super snuggly, isn't it? It's, you know, the pillows are really soft underneath their paws. And I think there is that sort of bonding thing of, again, sleeping together with their person. So
I'm her person.
I know.
That makes me very happy.
When you get chosen, it's unbelievable, isn't it? And you just like go over it.
Yeah.
I know. It's quite a big gloating moment as well, isn't it? Like
every night when she's above my head, I literally rub it in my boyfriend's face.
Does it ever happen when she's gone above his head instead?
Never.
No.
Never. She'll go between his legs.
Yeah.
But I know that won't last long because then he can't move.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's a fun girl. I don't think there's anything else I've ever really wondered. Like I say, I Google a lot. Do you know something I did read though? That and I know Google's not always your best friend, but I did read that purring actually calms us.
Yeah.
That's
true.
something I learned this week. Something about like how the vibrations or the low vibrations of a cat's purr can calm us as humans. Yeah. So maybe that's why we're so calm. I just want to share that with the group, but you both know already. Of course you do.
Imagine Nicky was like, really?
Never.
Oh my God, I know that. Yeah. God, Nat's told you something you didn't know there, Nicky. No, but it's true. It's when you found, and I was like, that's just further proof of why people should get cats.
Yeah,
definitely.
Because it's literally scientifically proven that it's good for your health.
And it goes back to the beginning of this podcast where I was crying, said I needed a cat, and now
you were justified in that crying.
Exactly. Now I'm a much happier person, and I actually really am. Yeah, it's great.
I mean, what's the best thing about having a cat? Do you think?
The best thing about having a cat is that companionship with. Like, I don't think there's anything else you could compare it to. Like I say, I prefer cats over humans most of the time. You're all lovely, but I love my cat the most. It's that companionship and just having someone, her, to go home to every single day. And it's unconditional love that, like, both ways. So both ways. Like, no matter how much she ruins my apartment, I will always love her to bits, you know? She'll always be my little angel, so
that's such a good good way of describing a relationship with a cat. Yeah. That. No matter how much she ruins the apartment, I'll still always love her.
Yeah, it's unconditional. It's absolutely unconditional.
Oh, amazing. Nat, thanks so much for coming on Cat's Got Your Tongue. We've loved having you.
Thank you so much.
It's been great to find out more about your cat as well, and it's always nice to meet someone who's just as passionate about cats as I am. So yeah.
Always.
It's great.
And we need to go to Cats Protection
100%,
soon together, please.
Yeah, I'll show you all the kittens, and oh my God, it'd be so good. We'll go and visit. Absolutely. Thanks, Nat. Thanks, Nicky, as always, as well.
Cool. Cheers, Adam.
So that's just about it for this week on Cat's Got Your Tongue, made in association with Cats Protection. Thank you again for listening. Remember to hit subscribe so you don't miss our next episode, and you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. You can watch us on YouTube as well if you want. And don't forget, if you've got any cat's tales, any questions, any stories you might want to share about your cat, you can let us know about them. You can get in touch by emailing us, pod@cats.org.uk, or you can send us a little voice note if you want on WhatsApp, 07824 551076. Tell your friends who love cats about us, because they will love it. Also, don't forget, share the podcast. Give us a lovely review as well whilst you're at it. And we'll see you next time on Cat's Got Your Tongue. So I know from personal experience how a much loved cat can feel like such an integral part of your family. And often the impact our cats have on us lasts for years, even after they've passed away. Now, if you're looking for a way to celebrate and commemorate the life of your cat, Cats Protection have an online memory wall on their website where you can add your own photos and cherished memories. Visit cats.org.uk for more information.